Hunger, poverty, malnutrition, illness, hopelessness, illiteracy, disease, death. Each night, 800 million people go to bed hungry, most of whom are women and children. In Latin America, 28 out of every 1,000 children die before their first birthday. 34 die before reaching age 5. Lacking both food and medicine, poor nations have a much higher infant mortality rates than the developing world. Each day, 6,000 children in developing countries die because of a lack of clean water and sanitation. In Latin America and the Caribbean, some 3.1 million children are still out of school. In Honduras, every year, 12,000 children die of preventable diseases. In Lima, Peru, 60% of families live in slums that ring the city where abject poverty, unemployment, and malnutrition are rampant. Of the 3.8 million people living in extreme poverty in Peru, 2.1 million are children. The most alarming truth is that the majority of these children growing in these poverty-stricken communities have not experienced the love of God. They are unaware of who He is and of the wonderful plan that He has for each one of them through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. By working directly with local churches and institutions, Operation Rescue the Children is able to provide feeding centers and medical and educational programs. We are committed to assisting underprivileged children and families living in extreme poverty within Latin America through sponsorship and community development programs. Our community programs include special housing projects for the poorest of the poor, development of potable water systems, vocational training, and adult literacy programs. Children have access to a Christian education that provides the opportunity to hear the gospel, enter into a personal relationship with Christ, and build a lifestyle of faith and commitment to God. Our end goal is to display the true love of God through these programs and to restore hope and dignity in the lives of the children and families we serve. Roxana is a typical 10-year-old girl whose favorite pastime is playing with dolls. But Roxana's life has been anything but typical. Until 2006, Roxana lived with both her parents, her 3 sisters, and 2 of her brothers in the slums of Honduras in a tiny rented one-room house made of wood. Roxana would describe her previous home as a room with no walls and no air conditioning, no windows, no dining room, no kitchen, no living room, and no bathroom. A borrowed room that her family could not even claim as its own. Growing up in such an unpredictable environment and deplorable living conditions, Roxana soon developed a pessimistic outlook on life that was very evident to those around her. Her almost apprehensive demeanor and piercing, distrustful glances revealed more than words could ever convey. Roxana suffered from chronic stomach pains and anemia. But in 2006, life for Roxana began to change. Through a special partnership with the Caring House Project Foundation, Roxana and her family of 8 became the recipients of a solid single-family home they could call their own. Roxana today is not only a healthier, well-adjusted, and trusting young girl who's always full of smiles and warm hugs, but she is also a walking testimony, displaying the power of a radically changed life. The love that Roxana transmits today to those whom she comes into contact is clear evidence of the transformation that has taken place. A transformation made possible only through the lives that were obedient enough to take a step of action when they heard the cry of the poor. Today, Roxana's mother helps her own community by volunteering her time preparing meals at the local feeding center for the other children in her village. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. The compassion and mercy that characterizes our Lord Jesus Christ is described in Matthew 25:35. This model of ministry is what we are called to follow and obey in order to accomplish his mission of reaching the thousands of children living in poverty and darkness. Transforming lives for now, for eternity is our goal.